Last year, 57 women in Australia were killed as a result of domestic and family violence, and approximately 10 women a day, every day, are hospitalised because of injuries inflicted from a partner. Yvette is a former criminal lawyer and on the board of Domestic Violence New South Wales, plus is CEO of Mary's House Services, a Sydney-based support centre for women and children who are escaping abusive relationships. Welcome to the show, Yvette. Thank you for coming in. More than one woman a week is killed because of domestic violence. This is just a shocking statistic, isn't it?
It is. It never ceases to amaze me, even though I hear it every week. But there's something that a lot of people don't realise. It's actually also one child per fortnight that is killed as a result of a domestic violence incident. And another thing that I always like to talk about, because we're based in the northern suburbs, is that domestic violence doesn't know a postcode. I don't know if you've heard the data, but 9 in 10 Australians know domestic violence is a problem. It's actually 97%, but only 5 in 10 Australians think it's a problem in the suburb in which they live.
Wow.
And at Mary's House Services, we're working throughout the northern suburbs, and I can tell you it is a huge problem. It's at epidemic proportions, and it's an emergency.
Yeah, absolutely horrendous statistics there. You've worked as a criminal lawyer, so you know the judicial system better than most. What changes would you like to see in the system to protect our women and children even more?
If I had to choose two, one would be the introduction of specialist domestic and family violence prosecutors and domestic and family violence local court services. There was a pilot run in Queensland that has been shown to be effective, cost-effective. Court delays cause danger to women and children. I believe that would save lives. Another thing I'd like to see is a lot better coordination between the family court system and the local court system, because a lot of perpetrators use the family court system as a way of further abusing their family or their ex-partners, intentionally obstructive behaviours. It's a power and control thing, and because one court is a federal court and the other court is a state court, the flow of information is not as consistent as it should be, and I believe that also puts children and women in danger.
Goodness me. Now, you mentioned Mary's House. This is a wonderful service in Sydney. What exactly does it do?
We do two main things. We operate a refuge for women and children who are escaping violence, so we give them safe refuge and they stay with us for a few months at a time. They're supported by our expert social workers. And we also run extensive community programs. So we have social workers who have expertise in domestic and family violence who provide all sorts of supports, access to housing, counselling and expert advice. And we run group programs at our Daisy Centre.
Well, yeah, Mary's House, it's helped so many women. Maybe there's a story or two you can tell us how it's changed lives?
There's a story that's stuck in my mind from earlier this year. One of our clients, I'll use the name Nadia, was 38 weeks pregnant. She had to leave her abusive relationship to save her and her unborn child's life, and she came to stay at our refuge. So she gave birth a couple of weeks after coming to live with us, and she was given all forms of support for her and her newborn. And long story short, she was eventually helped to get safe rental accommodation and all forms of supports in the community, and she's now continuing her studies and thriving as a parent. And I truly believe we saved Nadia's life.
And the life of that little child, too, by the sounds of things.
That's right.
What future do you see for Mary's House? How do you see it evolving?
My dream for Mary's House is that we grow. We're in the northern suburbs, and naturally a lot of government funding flows to more socioeconomically disadvantaged parts of Sydney, as it should. We are not government funded at all. So my dream is that we can grow our funds to provide more accommodation services for women and more casework services for women to save the lives of people like Nadia and her unborn child. That's where I intend us to go, and that's why we're doing all sorts of fundraising, such as the Mary's House Walk this Sunday.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the walk that's happening here in Sydney at the weekend. How can people get involved in it?
Thanks, Tristan. Yeah, so it's very simple. It's the Mary's House Walk. They can go to maryshouse.org.au, click on the Mary's House Walk banner, and all they have to do is either register to join the walk, or if they can't join the walk, click the donate button in the top right-hand corner, and we would love all the support we can get to save more lives.
Oh, great. You heard it there. If you're in Sydney, you can register for the charity walk this weekend or come to Sydney. Otherwise, you can make a donation to Mary's House. Head to maryshouse.org.au. Click on Mary's House Walk banner on the homepage to register or donate. Yvette, thank you so much for joining us today and the work you do.
Thank you.
Up next in the biz, creator of The Crown, Peter Morgan tackles those rumours about Diana's ghost appearing in the latest